Hello to everyone. I am Milaim MEHMETI. I am teaching assistant at the University of Lutini in Mitrovica. Today I will present the research with the title Credit Potential of Commercial Banks in Kosovo and their impact on economic growth. The banking sector of Kosovo is one of the key promoters and contributors to the economic development of the country in general since the post-war period until today. With a stable and consolidated credit potential, commercial banks are the best guarantor of economic and financial development in Kosovo. The banks in Kosovo have a high level of financial potential as well as advanced capacities. They undoubtedly have a huge impact on economic and social development in general. The banking sector in Kosovo consists of two-level banks, the Central Bank of Kosovo as a first level and the Commercial Bank as a second level bank. The development of the banking sector, supported by the Central Bank of Kosovo, has contributed positively to doing business and opening up various opportunities that serve directly and are not limited only to the clients of the banking sector. In Kosovo, in Republic of Kosovo, 11 commercial banks operate, offering the most diverse banking products in the market, but the most frequent are deposits and loans. Among other things, the banking sector in Kosovo has evolved by offering modern digital service, fast payment system, channeling financial resources starting from depositors to investment project, and offers a wide range of electronic service and financial products by including trade finance. Given the impact on economic development, the focus of commercial banks in Kosovo remains on small and medium enterprises. As a result, these enterprises promise sustainable economic development, promotion of innovation, promote sustainable internationalization, and in any case affect and better conditions for employees. About data methodology and results, in the framework of this research, sources that include foreign and local literature, books, scientific journals were used. What is important, the main source of information is quantitative analysis through correlation with a dependent variable, GDP growth, and independent variables, the natural logarithm of all assets of all banking system, the ratio of all loans to all assets, the ratio of all placements and investments with total assets, and the key are the ratio of share capital to total assets. The data period includes the time interval from 2005 to 2021 from the official data of the Central Bank of Kosovo and the World Bank. This is the first graph. Based on the data presented in the graph, we see that Kosovo has had an increase in GDP continuously from 2005 to 2019, while there was at 5.34% decrease in 2020. This was a result of a pandemic COVID-19. Total loan. The credit portfolio of the banking sector has continuously expanded while the value of total loans from 513 million euro in 2005 has continued to increase and in 2021 has reached 3.75 billion euros. The total assets of banking sector continuously increased. In this case, we can make a comparison with the year 2005, in which case the value of the total assets was 984 million euros, while the value has continuously increased, where in 2021 it will reach a value about 5.96 billion euros. Placement investment. The position of securities has shown continuous growth even though their participation is small. In 2005 their value was close to 83 million euros, while in 2021 the value has reached 685 million euros. Of course, such an increase is important, but the value and focus of investment in securities remains small. About total capital of banking sector in Kosovo, the own funds of the banking sector have been characterized by continuous growth. If we take the period of 2005 as a compression, the value of the total capital was 74 million euros. But this value has multiplied over the year due to continuous growth, which in 2021 has reached the value 643 million euros. Now I will present the result of research. Based on the result generated by the statistical model used, the GDP growth rate has an average value of 4.02% with a standard deviation of 3.19%, while its minimum value is minus 5.34% and the maximum is 10.74%. Meanwhile, the natural logarithm of all assets of the banking system has an average of 7.44% with a standard deviation 0.55%, while the minimum value is 6.24% and the maximum value is 8.23%. Standard deviation 0.036% with a minimum value of 0.52% and a maximum value of 0.66%. As well as the result, KR, capital ratio with total assets, has an average of 0.10%, standard deviation 0.13%, while the minimum value is 0.75 and the maximum value is 0.12. About correlation analysis is used to analyze the relationship between the dependent variable of GDP and the independent variable. According to the results, it appears that there is a positive correlation with the total loan or total assets ratio and the natural logarithm of all assets, all securities placements and investment, and the capital adequacy have a negative relationship, while other variables have a negative correlation. Based on the results of test, we suggest that all the variables used in the framework of model have a value lower than 10. This indicates that the value of the phi test with probability 0.0030 at a confidence level of 99.9%. More to verify the stability of the model required is 43.8% of the dependent variables explain the growth of GDP, while the remaining part is explained by other variables that have not been addressed in the framework of this paper. Of the traded variables, 3 have turned out to have a statistically significant impact, while one of has turned out to be unimportant or non-significant. Total assets have a positive impact on GDP growth with 95 confidence level. This means that for every increase in the total assets of the banking sector, it affects the increase in GDP. Total assets have a positive impact with 95% confidence level, which means that for every 1% increase in total loans in the banking sector, it affects 107.01 percentage points. Total placement investment to total assets in the econometric aspect, the result of this indicator is insignificant and as such is irrelevant for discussion. The ratio of total credit to total assets has resulted in a significant positive impact on GDP growth with a significance level of 95%, which means that for every increase in this ratio we have an increase in GDP. Something about conclusions. The difference between the interest rates for loans and deposits is considered a great advantage for the financial banking sector, since the small return on deposits has encouraged banks to save, while it has reduced the cost of lending and thus has increased opportunities for greater profits. As for the Central Bank of Kosovo, in order to have lower interest rates in the credit market, they also agree with the assessment of commercial banks that general improvement of the business environment would definitely encourage new banks to enter the credit market. Businesses must have detailed plans to compete in the case of loan request so that the project are more convincing to the bank's management, because in this way the banks will have an easier discussion making process. The use of efficient and appropriate crediting techniques for SMEs in the first period of credit use should be applied by commercial banks during this period, since this way of issuing loans is very little. The small return on deposits has discouraged potential savers, while it has increased the cost of borrowers and thus reduced the opportunities for investment and economic growth, especially for our economy, where the opportunities for alternative sources of financing through the market capital are minimal. Also, the continuous increase in bank loans should be carefully analyzed for its effect in the future, since in some periods we have an increase in bad loans. Although the credit potential of banks is increasing, this is justified by the high interest rate for loans, which, based on our study and the traded variables, appears to have a high impact on GDP growth. Thanks for your attention.